We're almost ready, everyone. Hello, everybody! Sorry for the delay. We had some technical difficulties on my end. It went, we're gonna crash. And I'm like, no! And I was like, in the time that this loads, let's go ahead and get some coffee made. It's made, it's ready. But today I'm here interviewing Chanté Cosplay. Say hello.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet y'all.
And then we've got some special people watching the stream right now from Katsucon. And hello, Katsucon out there.
Hey, Katsu. I miss you so much.
I don't know what that feels like.
In there. So long.
And if you hear a lot of scuttling upstairs, that's dog having zoomies.
Yeah.
So today, we're going to be asking simple questions as how you got into cosplay, where did you start, where you are now, how did COVID affect you, your business aspects, your friend aspects, your personal experience with cosplay, what good and bad things, all that fun stuff. So starting off, how did you get into cosplay and how long ago was it that you first started?
Oh, boy. My favorite question ever. So, the first time I started cosplaying was in 2008. And during that time, 2008, Arda wigs didn't exist. Half of the cosplay resources we have never existed. So being able to create cosplays during that time, really interesting back in the 2008s. My first convention was actually in Florida at MetroCon.
Okay.
And when I went there and I saw all the costumes, I was like, oh man, I'm home. This is where I'm meant to be. This is my people. Oh my gosh, like this is the environment that I've always wanted to be a part of. And ever since my first experience there at MetroCon, it opened new doors to me doing performances.
Yeah.
And performances in cosplay. And I have been doing that for many, 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 many years up until COVID.
Oh man, I know the feeling. Also, is there like a fan by the phone? I'm hearing a sound.
It's probably my computer.
Ah. Because it's like, where did this just come from?
It's probably my computer. I wouldn't be surprised. I guess I'll kind of just hold my phone. My camera stands a little too tall, and I don't have a tiny one.
It's all good. And then, how long ago was it that you actually, like, what year, how long, was it Halloween? What got you actually, like, not knowing if it's cosplay, but at the time, like, when you started liking doing what it is called cosplay now?
Yeah. That's a really good question because it was so long ago for me. It's well over 10 years for me when I was introduced to cosplay. Well over 10 years. I don't look like it.
Honey, I know.
So, like I said, like Art of Wigs didn't exist. Half of the resources that were around didn't exist. But I already knew how to sew. I actually taught myself how to sew clothing and everything.
Yeah.
Long before I ever knew what cosplay was. And it wasn't until I joined my anime club in high school where I got a little bit more exposed to conventions. I knew all about anime.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I watched Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z,
Anime.
you name it. Every Tommy, I was there. But I didn't know about conventions till, I was in high school in 2008. And 2008 was the first year I went to a convention with a group of my friends. And I cosplayed Lala Deviluke from To Love Ru. And it was the first costume I've ever made for a person. Because I would used to make clothing for when I was younger. So, it was my first time making clothing for a person, let alone me. Plus, I also made a costume for my friend as well. She cosplayed Sheena from Tales of Symphonia.
Oh, yes. Let's go. One of my favorite tales.
Yes. So, I made that costume for her. And we just, that was really my first exposure to it. And it was the most fun I ever had, ever. Like, I loved dressing up. It was like 10 people knew who it was. And back then, having 10 people know what your cosplay was like...
A lot, actually.
Just having one person recognize you was amazing.
Surprisingly, with Tales games back then, it would be like one of those, like, it's a dirty little secret video game I play and I don't think anybody knows. And then you find out so many people know what Tales is. And it's like, oh my god, hi, you're my best friend.
Huge. I love it.
And then today, as you're in cosplay, what are you cosplaying today?
Oh, I am cosplaying Power from Chainsaw Man. The anime is supposed to be coming out very soon. Still waiting for it, but the manga is out.
I need to read it still, honestly. I've got it. I need to read it.
It is so good. Very good. Like, I'm not even done yet.
I don't think it's even finished, is it?
There are any spoilers because I don't really have many to begin with, but from what I've read so far, it's bananas. It's very good. I'm very excited to see how they're going to animate it all. Cause
seeing that, would you say that the trailer for the first Chainsaw Man being released, I would say it didn't do it justice, because when people were freaking out, I was like, this is it? I don't understand what this is. Like, I don't think I'm going to invest my time. And then seeing the first volume manga, no, they go full deep, like, this is Chainsaw Man. But on top of that, good experiences throughout doing cosplay. Do they balance out the bad times? You gotta have good and bad. We all know about the toxicity with every fandom that comes, but it's like, guys, this is a cosplay family. We all should be loving each other. I mean, you don't need to love everybody, but still, it's great moments in cosplay history for you.
My cosplay has actually been extremely positive. I am one of the very lucky few people who, while being in this community for as long as I have not really received too much backlash on what I do and the work that I do. Thank goodness. Because it's not the same for everyone. I have seen how bad it can get for other people, especially other people of color, and
I'd say skin, race, religion, all that stuff. We've seen the nasty parts of it.
Yes, I've seen it all. I even know a lot of the creators who, a lot of people and cosplayers who went through it, and you can see their posts of all of the things that people have said to them. And man, I'm just thankful I have not been exposed to that. I don't know how. Maybe it's because I'm so extremely introverted and
Stay
I
away from
don't
everything. Go away. I'm a turtle.
like, even if I post something, it's not something negative. It's always something positive. And even if someone said something bad to me, I'm usually just like, whatever. Cry about it, but I don't like backlash. I don't yell. I don't scream about it. I kind of just, and that's kind of how I lived my life through being a person of color doing cosplay. Like, yes, all I can say is I count all of my blessings for not having to be exposed to racist comments, hurtful comments, anything of those sorts. Thank God.
Right. And this doesn't invite people to start doing that either, because trust me, that will not go very well with most people now in these days, regardless of how much further in the future goes. Just think before you say anything when it comes to that type of subject.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, it's anything else you'd like to add as to like conventions you've gone to, conventions you're expecting to go to, hopefully, like, you know, with COVID also being affecting. Actually, let's go with, how did COVID affect your cosplay time post and after?
The COVID times was a rocky time. So right before the pandemic, I had just graduated from university. I had gotten my master's in costume technology and design.
Just that alone is an appraisal. Did you go hardcore full time, or were you a part time, mixed time?
I had to go full time. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. I essentially had 3 jobs when I was in school. Like, I was a student. I also worked in the costume shop, and I also sewed all the costumes for all the theater productions that were going on within the theater. So it was a lot. So right after I graduated, I was like, okay, I'm going to go find a job, and what I'm going to do in my career is going to be great. So I actually was able to get an interview with Disney, and I was so excited because working with Disney was like dream job. Like, I've always wanted to work for Disney. And
how'd that turn out?
I'm getting.
I'm like, were you a cast member 24/7?
But no, I was very excited about getting the chance to do what I love, which is sewing, for a company that I love. So went to the interview. I thought everything went well, only to find out that I didn't get hired because I didn't follow a direction. And they said, oh, well, you can always reapply. And I went, okay, yeah, I'll consider reapplying. And right when I was considering to reapply, the pandemic hit.
Oh.
Everything started shutting down. And I was like, man, if I had gotten hired at that job, I wouldn't have had a job for like months. So dodged a bullet there. But that ended up happening. So in frantic rush trying to find jobs, I ended up working at a sewing center for a short period of time as a sewing instructor to make money. But obviously with the pandemic, things did not work out very well overall. And because of me feeling horrible about not getting my dream job, horrible about getting a job that I wasn't really getting paid well enough for the knowledge and the information that I knew, my mental health went to crap. So much so
Big sad.
So much so that I had to be hospitalized. Very rocky times. So after I had gotten out of the hospital, that was when I was like, I need to take my mental health, my emotional health, and my physical health into way more consideration than I had ever done. Yeah. So even though people were able to go back to work, were able to start working and everything like that, I decided not to step one foot into a job because I knew that I wouldn't be mentally prepared to do it. One of the hardest things to accept about not getting the job at Disney was the fact that I work too slow. I am not a very fast worker. And through trying to understand why I work slow, why I work the way that I do, why do I think the way that I do, and learning more about my emotional health and mental health, I learned that I don't just have depression, anxiety, ADHD, PTSD, pretty much every mental health thing under the sun. Been diagnosed with bipolar.
Welcome to the club.
Despite all of those diagnoses, it wasn't until I started seeing a neurotherapist where he was like, "You're on the spectrum," and that's when everything made sense. I was like, oh, that's why I am how I am. This makes so much sense. So the pandemic for me was both really bad, but also extremely good. Towards the beginning, obviously, very rocky. The first 2019 to 2020, rough. But 2020, 2021 and onwards, I have never felt so great about myself, my work, what I do, like ever in my life. And I'm not even technically getting paid to do what I do yet. Like, I've been cosplaying for 10 years. Yes. 10 years. Been on social media since its discovery and have yet to been able to really put myself out there. And it's because of all the pressures of social media, you know, like you have to post every day. You have to do this. You have to do that. And
simply like that, just, oh gosh, I know.
I don't have the brain capacity for that.
Notes help.
Don't.
Written notes help a lot.
I try, but it's very, very difficult. Like, I'm just now learning how to create a schedule and a routine. Oh, isn't that crazy? I'm 31 years old.
And I'm 30 with ADHD, same stuff, and it's like I have to have this right in front of me 24/7, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you need your sugar snacks.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Well, I can't have too much sugar because I have health issues, but that's fine. I trick my brain by eating stevia. I put stevia in everything. It tastes just like sugar, but it's not sugar. So yeah, I eat so much better. Like, I'm top of the world right now with how I feel. Like,
that's
it's crazy to see how hard COVID had affected everyone, because it really has, and it's still.
I would say that with COVID, I do agree. It affected a lot of people hard. Nobody out there, unless that one guy that came on the news media who had lived in a log cabin for over a year during the pandemic, was like, what happened to the world? Literally off the grid. And I'm just like, you missed nothing, and we don't think you wanted to experience what happened. Bless your heart. But even with the health concerns of, like you were saying, how does that affect overall your health, not the mental stuff, emotional? We're talking more of the physicalities of like your diets and stuff. I don't think I've asked anybody about that, but except for like staying in shape with Misfits Cosplay or Misfits Studios that I was interviewing. How does the actual diet and reprimanding, you need sleep, of course, take care, how does that affect your mindset, your mood, your diet, just overall everything?
Having a diet of any sort, whether it's
sushi,
adding more greens, adding more vegetables or fruits to a routine that you already have, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Like it's for me, it was more about me not having an upset stomach because I was having a lot of digestive issues, and just figuring out what was wrong with my body in the first place really helped. And that wouldn't have happened if the pandemic didn't happen. Like just me being able to spend time by myself in a room, just thinking and living my life, and being like, oh, why does my stomach hurt? Oh, it's probably because I'm eating a crap ton of cheese.
Yep.
Maybe I cut back on dairy, and being more mindful and aware about what I'm putting in my mouth, because I wasn't really caring about any of that before, like what I was eating, what I was doing, and like even just adding spinach to a meal that I already eat.
Spinach is better. Spinach is way better.
It's just good enough. Like I've been eating spinach a lot, like arugula. Like I eat more fish meals a day because fish is good for you.
You eating pomegranate?
Oh, so I really love sticks. I love eating them. Hate cutting them. Hate the process of getting everything out of it, but also paying for just the seeds themselves. It's expensive.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
But you know what is good?
Dragon fruit.
Pineapple.
Pineapple. Let's go.
Pineapple.
Hey, can you put that on my pizza, please?
Snack.
I'm the dirty pizza eater that puts pineapple on his pizza. I'm like, yes.
Me too. I love pineapple on my pizza. I don't care what anybody says. It's delicious.
I hear people put broccoli on pizza, and I'm just like, I'll try it.
Pizza before. It's delicious. Broccoli, cheese, and chicken. Delicious.
And did you know?
Like spinach and just feta.
There's a time I think you may need to try this, and surprisingly, I'm going to be trying it here soon, but putting pickles on vanilla ice cream is apparently really good, and the person that did a reaction, he's like, no, this shouldn't make sense. Why does this taste so good? I'm just like, well, all the salt in the pickles alone with something so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
it's interesting. I like vinegary things, but I don't like pickles.
Right?
It's so weird. Like, give me kimchi all day, every day. Give me salt and vinegar chips till the roof of my mouth rot off. But pickles?
Hey, go with cucumbers.
Yeah, I do like cucumbers. I mean, cucumbers is what pickles are.
Yeah, pickles.
Did you know
it's expired cucumbers.
I was 5 years old when I learned that.
Actually, if you want certain type of pickles, go with like sweet pickles. You might like those. That's as much if you like olives. Oh, trust me, you'll like sweet pickles. No. Nope. They have their own taste. It's like,
They have their own little acquired taste. I'm not surprised.
Like olive on pizza with onions. Oh my god, it's so good. And get some chicken, get some pineapple with that. Oh, I'm gonna be a little dirty fatty right here.
Holy crap.
All right. So next up here, we're gonna go ahead and get into the cosplay aspects. Starting out with your your Fate Grand Order cosplay. Would you like to tell the audience who the character is, why you did this, how long ago was this cosplay, hun?
And can I? So yeah, that is me portraying Ryder from the Fate Stay series, and it was a costume made for performance. I was actually on stage as Ryder, fighting as Ryder with the actual weapons, and having to create a fight with flying daggers on chains. And on top of that, having to be on stage blindfolded. Yes, very fun. So the mask that I made was made with spandex, and I had pulled the spandex really taut and tight so that I can see through it still, but from 40 feet away on stage, it would look like a whole solid thing. So that's how I did the effect to make it look like I was being, like my eyes were covered like the character, and keeping it true to the character, but still being able to see and stay alive while fighting someone on stage.
Honestly, I think it would scare somebody because they wouldn't know where your eyes are at. Just like, I didn't see it coming. Well, no, duh.
Yeah. Well, funny story. Well, during the performances that I did, because we performed the show twice. It was on a Saturday and a Sunday. This was at MetroCon in Florida.
Ooh.
and this was in the year 2011.
Ooh. So 11 years ago.
11 years ago, yes. But during that stage performance, as I was the character, while I was waiting for my fight, I would sit on the stage and take a nap because no one could see my eyes. So while the show was going on, I was kind of like dozing off, like, oh, no, take a nap before I start my fight because this is all really tiring and draining. Let me collect my brain before I have to do this fight. So it's a little funny story about my time on stage there. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like how I fell asleep in D&D online.
Or you can check out MetroCon Florida official on YouTube as well. They have videos of all of their shows that they've ever recorded, I think since like 2007.
Ooh.
They've had every show that they've ever done recorded. So
that's awesome, honestly. And I love your writer cosplay. You did such a good job here.
Thank you.
And I don't say that for like, oh, I'm being nice. No, honestly, genuinely, I love to see cosplays done. Even more when people put the effort in making any of it. I'm just like...
Yeah. All handmade, yeah. No
and then
pattern.
for the dress, what did you use for the sundress?
I'm sorry?
The sundress that you wore for the cosplay. What type of material were you using for it?
The sundress. Spandex. I use spandex.
Okay.
The whole entire outfit made from spandex.
All right. Awesome, awesome. And then let's go ahead to the next one, which is a cosplay from Ruby. I can't remember her name off the top of the head, but I'm going to call her Green Top. Was
Emerald.
I was going to say, was it Emerald? I was like, wait a second. As soon as I said that, I'm like...
Yes.
So how did you come about getting the wig, the outfit made, what things were put together? Because I know there's some things here you cannot just find off the shelf of like any like Costco shelf or Kohl's or stuff like that. It's like, I gotta hand make it.
Yeah. So for the wig, actually a old wig from a different cosplay that a friend of mine had did. I believe it was Scanty from Panty and Stocking, one of the double girls with the green hair.
Oh yeah.
I ended up chopping that wig up completely, turn it into the emerald wig. And then for the top, I completely hand designed the top myself. I used a body form to drape everything on it, to figure out where all the lines have to go, where all the seams have to go, figure out how the whole entire dang thing wrapped around my body, because the way that the outfit is, it makes no sense.
No.
Especially because there's no drawn seams on it. So you have to spend time figuring out where all the seams even are on the costume. So that was tricky, trying to figure out that. So that part was made. I also made a little green little top as well.
It's got to be a lot of wiring in like when I'm designing costumes too from this, like right here I noticed, okay, that's wire, wire here, wire here, and then coming up it's going to be ribbon wire coming up, and I'm just like, no, nothing. Oh my god.
The only wiring support is in that middle boning part there. Yes.
Boning, thank you.
Accurate to the character, so there isn't like any extra straps or clear straps that I have to keep everything up. That's just naturally me keeping everything up.
Okay. With this, as to if I try and like I can't see the cosplay unless I'm doing this. I'm like, okay. For if I was trying to go about this, I see it like the buttons right here. We've got it's gonna be really like right to the skin, and then like I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get a sports bra for this, but I'm gonna make sure I'm really like I'm gonna put like a horseshoe right here or something. Make sure it's like, muscles. How you do it? And then for the pants, though, I see it's regular pants, but with the chafs, cowboy looking put over stuff, was that something that you put the effort into making, or did you find this? I'm assuming you made it.
Yep, I made it. Pretty much the only thing on the costume that wasn't made were the pants.
The pants. Painter's pants saves a lot of people to find like white pants.
I actually owned them, so it was. I lucked out.
Oh, you lucked out.
Yeah,
and then,
I actually it, so I lucked out on needing to find white pants for my Emerald cosplay.
And then for the gloves, I assume you made.
Yep.
That's really dope, honestly. I like that.
Okay. I also not only did I wear that costume for fun, I also did wear that for a performance as well. A lot of the costumes I do are for performances at conventions.
Yeah.
But trying to do more of my own cosplays. I neglected myself and my work, so I want to do that more.
Here's some dragon fruit and pineapple. So for the next one, we've got a Street Fighter cosplay. Pretty risque, but at the same time, I'm very interested. How did you actually come about making this one?
Pretty much like everything by the seat of my pants. Everything was crafted. Like, I went to school to do all of this, in a sense. Like, yeah, I taught myself how to technically sew, but, yeah, I went to school to learn pattern draping and certain aspects that comes with sewing, and learn a little bit more technical techniques as well.
Yeah.
Was why cool to do things. So a lot of the cosplays that I did in the past and that I'm showing right now were things that I did like in my undergraduate years. Still trying to figure out who the hell I was, what I wanted to do, and all that stuff.
Right. I would say with college, I tell people don't try and rush to go into college. Really think and experience the world a little bit before you go in. Because now that even right now, I know what I want to go back to do, but I wish I had known that better much sooner and had the better push and motivation back from right now to back then, without even needing to be on like medications, which I'm not on anymore, being Adderall, but that's a whole nother subject.
I played the medication game.
It's best not to be on it.
Fun.
No, you get so many side effects after having it for a couple decades, and it's just like they stay with you. They stay with you, but you learn how to cope because we slow down when we get older, so we'll just say that.
Even though I went through the entire experience, I am not on medication anymore. Thank God. The side effects are pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
I had an experience with medication, and after that experience, I was like...
for the fact, a lot of us from the 90s that grew up, we were all put on medication. Just so that we didn't need to speak out. There's a lot of reasons for it, but it came down to... It's best not to put the kids on medication. I'm not saying anti-vaxxer stuff. I'm saying, like, purely if we had the knowledge now better, and today, back then, we would have known how to I have parents who tell me they have kids that have ADHD, and I explain to them, like, here's some actual things you can work with them on, because I have ADHD, and mine was horrible. I was a little,
I knew you had ADHD. I could just tell.
I was, I'll just say this blunt, I was a hell spawn.
Very impulsive, very crazy all over the place.
Yes. I'd be climbing everything. I'd be running everybody upside the wall. It was just, I was destructive. Let's put it that way. And didn't know how to really do it except get into chess and art and cosplay. Let's put it that way. And anime. Just straight up.
The arts was my saving grace. 100%.
It was. It was.
I love to sing, dance, act, I do everything and all the things. Burlesque, like...
Honey, I've taught and been in burlesque. I do it. It's fun. Honestly, a lot of people... Okay, it is more of an adult subject for people who don't know what that is. Just do the research on yourself. But burlesque dancing, I've done it. It's very fun. It's very demandingly physical on the performance.
It's not easy.
It isn't. It isn't. That's as much as, say, you know, other activities as, say, like, more of the pole dancing routines. That's a lot of muscle that you need.
Yes. Pole dancing in itself is an exercise, and
because I used to do a lot of dancing.
Doing it for a month, and oh my god,
core. It's all core and upper muscle strength when it comes all to that, and leg strength. I might as well crush a watermelon with these thighs, hun.
It's true.
So moving on to the Saga, as what you told me before the interview. It was like, the artwork looks familiar. The Saga Cosplay character. Who is the character? Why did you do it? And honestly, it looks amazing. Even from the side right here, like, very well and down, accurate with a lot of things to the outfit.
That's what I'm about, accuracy.
Accuracy, let's go, man.
Yeah, Gwendolyn was one of those characters that I was very drawn to immediately. I just saw her style and was like, I need to cosplay her. And at the time, I had a partner who cosplayed the Will.
Oh.
So one year, we did Gwendolyn and the Will. And then the following year, he didn't go to Dragon Con, so I ended up taking the Will robe myself and doing a version of Gwendolyn with the Will cape, which was canon in the comics, and took some pictures. I actually wore that cosplay at Dragon Con 20.
You're going to get a lot of people at Dragon Con, Comic Con, Wizard World that will know exactly what that is.
Everybody was immediately. Like, that's the special thing about cosplaying and going to, like, conventions and just cosplaying to just what the convention is about. Like, if it's an anime convention and you cosplaying an anime and people be like, oh no, yeah, that's an anime.
Oh yeah.
You're doing comics and people, oh yeah, that's a comic. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Fun story. DC Comics with the Black Lanterns. There's so many people. I don't know how it is now, but at the time I made my own OC Black Lantern because I loved the Black Lantern Corps. Like, to loving passion, but now I've kind of fallen off the earth. But at the time when you go to a C2E2 and nobody knows what the hell you are, and they're like, wait, there's more than just the Green Lanterns? And I had made my own Black Lantern.
What?
Yeah. Nobody knew what I was. And it was like, I was fully black, decked out ring that I got from, like, Hero Clicks that was like 50 cents versus spending like $20 to $100 on a ring. I had chains coming down my arms with hooks and all this. I was just like, I was not doing Necron. I was doing, this is mine. I call him the gatekeeper from the Black Lantern Corps.
Yeah. Oh.
Nobody knew what it was except for people who were, it was sad that even people who wore the Green Lantern shirts didn't even know what I was. Just in general, what the Black Lantern was. I was like,
oh.
I'm at a comic convention. People don't know what I am. I'm a little sad.
Ooh. All right, my hands were hurting. I was like, I need to put this on a stand. This isn't
That's all good
for me.
But yeah, no, honestly, I'm loving the cosplay. In your hand there with the tassel. What is it that your character here? What's the character name again?
Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn. What is Gwendolyn holding here?
She's holding her weapon. She fights with a staff.
Okay, I thought this like a Tonfa type thing. I'm gonna.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. So yeah, she fights with the staff, and I just created the staff. I did end up entering the costume into a few contests, but you know, it's kind of hard doing competitions and not really knowing what the judges are looking for at the time too.
Right.
Like, I wasn't quite familiar with the whole experience of doing competitions and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it was a really fun and cool learning experience to begin with.
Right.
But yeah, I think the most fun thing about the costume was being barefoot. Not gonna lie. Or
so much better to be barefoot.
Clear foot things to make it look like I was barefoot. And like I I am pretty sure I have an eyelash in my eye.
All right, and then moving on to the Digimon looking character here. I said I was going to say that because I had no idea what I was looking at here. So, exactly, what is this character you're cosplaying? What are they from? And how did you come about making this one? I do see that there's some color variation with the red wings, but are they more like black in the manga, anime, video game?
Oh, yeah. So the comparison picture is actually the manga version, but the version that I cosplayed was the anime version.
Okay.
A lot of the versions that I tend to be the anime version because that's the version I
prefer.
Yeah. I have an issue with reading.
Podcast.
Yay! So even though mangas are mostly pictures and not a lot of words, I like to skip ahead, and that's really annoying when I end up spoiling myself halfway through reading, and I'm like, God damn it. So reading is really tricky for me. But anyway, that cosplay was actually, I had mentioned earlier, my first cosplay ever that I had made for a real physical body, and I decided to work with spandex, which...
They're helpful, oh my gosh.
They're helpful, but if you're a beginner sewer and you've never worked with spandex before, don't work with spandex.
You got it, but you have to start with it, so you got to be a beginner somehow.
Yeah, like, I understand that, but I'm saying, like, don't go into it blind. Do research. Do research on how the fabric works, what kind of stitches to use, because I didn't do that kind of research, and it was very hard just trying to make the costume, especially with me not have made a costume for a body before. Like, I didn't have a dress form at the time, so I essentially was building everything on my body. Like, this was before I knew about duct taping yourself and creating patterns. That method didn't even exist or wasn't talked about often. The internet wasn't nearly as
educational as it is now, where it's more available on the information.
Vast as it was when I was building this costume. So everything was really just me thinking about, okay, how can I make a bat hat using coat wires, stuffing, and spandex?
Oh, it's not fun.
But I'm gonna try. And
it brings
honestly, the hat was my favorite part of the whole entire costume. It ended up being my baby. One of the weirdest things I built as a beginner cosplayer. I've never built a hat before, obviously. So my first time building something that, one, went on my head, two, fit on my head, and fit on my head with a wig on. Like, magic. I'm magic. But the costume was very, very hot. I remember padding my boobs with like 7 different socks because I didn't know how to make my boobs larger at the time. I only knew about using socks. I didn't know about using picket cutlets. I didn't know about any of this stuff, man. None of it was in my radar. So yeah, and it was hot. I was wearing like 7 layers because the long sleeve purple shirt I was wearing was an actual long sleeve purple shirt that I had dyed, plus wearing spandex on top of that, plus wearing leggings on top of that, and the shoes that I made were connected to my leggings.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of layers, very hot, but so much fun to wear. Like, it was a lot of fun.
I believe it, honestly. And honestly, like, now these days, as I tell people, too, when it comes to guys with spandex, please wear Spanx under your spandex. It's the best, most helpful advice. And following up with the next cosplay, I know for a fact, from Chainsaw Man, don't know the girl's name, but why?
Maxima! Yeah. So something I realized I've fallen in love with doing, especially much later in my life, is falling in love with multiple characters and having a very hard time deciding who to cosplay. So at my age now, I'm like, why do I have to choose? I'm just gonna cosplay both. So yes, not only did I make a Makima outfit and cosplay, I did Power, and I also did Denji for my partner as well. So I pretty much made the main 3 guys outside of Aki. I still have to do an Aki. To essentially have like the main trio characters of the of Chainsaw Man. So
Right. I mean, Chainsaw Man himself, I always hear the one joke. He will rip you a new one. In 3 different ways.
Like, yeah, the version of Power that I'm cosplaying right now is from the manga where she's like, yes, I need to get serious about fighting stuff. Must
Must
this
know.
is actual a canon look. And I love it because I can wear my glasses.
That does work. And then for the next one, if everybody out here watching is
something about the Makima and the Power. I made the tie. The tie was made. I didn't buy a tie. I made it. Like, I can deattach this and take it off and use it for other things. I also made my own horns.
Nice.
I made them as accurate to Power as I could. I knew that her horns had like a straight angle and then pointed downwards. So I was like, I need to get them perfect. So I did. So I made a pattern and created my own horns as well.
Okay. And then following up, playing League of Legends out there, everyone. We've got a Soraka, but a variant skin. A very popular variant skin.
I don't even remember. Oh, man. Wait. What picture is it? I'm trying to find the picture now.
With a lot of ribbons. And I know it's Soraka because I also see the horn at the top right there. Is this the Lunar?
What? I don't have a Soraka. The funny thing is that, so I can't see your screen.
Oh, it's the one after Maki or the one before Maki that you sent in the messenger. It's the one with the long blonde hair with white clothing with blue ribbons.
So that's actually not Soraka. That's actually a character that was created by a Japanese illustrator named Sakizo.
Oh.
And the character's name is Soap Bubbles.
Soap Bubbles.
Soap Bubbles.
Okay, not Soraka. I'm bad.
Very cute and dainty. It's funny that you say Soraka because I did cosplay as Soraka. I wish I could remember what version it was. It was the more humanoid one where she wears like a yellow shirt and she has like a blue dress.
That would be like her before she turned into what she is now from the curse that was placed on her by the goddess, the moon goddess, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those skins. It was so long. The skin's over 10 years old, so I don't remember what it is. But yeah, it's the picture that's there is Soap Bubbles. It's a Sakizo. Sakizo is a Japanese illustrator that tends to do a very Rococo style or like Victorian style artwork that's very floral. There's lots of ruffles and very, very intricate details in all of the illustrations that she does. This picture is actually the second one that I did. The first one that I did is called the Queen of Hearts, and I wish that I was able to find the photo off of my phone. But it's all on my social medias. It's pretty much the one cosplay that kind of blew up around 28 Days of Black Cosplay a few years back. It was the most intricate cosplay that I had done at that time. And the Sakizo, the Soap Bubbles, was also just as difficult because having to style a wig that large was quite a challenge, and also having it stand up and not flop all over the place while I was walking, that was a challenge. But all the ruffles and the bows were all handmade. I designed the top and the bottom myself as well. Like all of it was hand patterned, hand designed. I airbrushed all the gold details on it. All the jewelry that's on there was hand painted as well. Like you can't even see all the details on it, which is kind of sad. Yeah. But there are quite a bit of details on it. But that's the beauty of doing a lot of the Sakizo cosplays. Like, even though a lot of them can look really simple, just the overall designs of them are.
They are not simple. Hard. They are not simple.
Yeah. Looks can be deceiving.
So we're going to go ahead and move on to the social media and other things that you would actually like to spread awareness of. Any businesses, charities, or other things. I allow people to actually advertise any promo stuff that they're doing, giveaways. I'm completely fine with this.
Yeah. So I can be found pretty much in every social media under the sun, underneath the handle Chanté Cosplay, like everything. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. And on those social medias, there's links to tip jars. I'm also available to do events, live or online events, to do either performance arts or just to be in cosplay and talk about what it is to be a cosplayer, especially being a cosplayer of color and also neurodivergent as well. I have also created a Facebook group that I've been wanting to create for such a long time.
Do it.
It's called ND Creative Stars, Neurodivergent Creative Stars.
Okay.
And it's pretty much a page that I created to help creators who are neurodivergent with setting up their world in social media and how to spread awareness, also how to spread their work, how to gain more followers, all of that without having to worry about burnout and burning ourselves out and like doing grind culture, having to post every day and trying to do this. Like I'm wanting to build like a really good resource for people who want to grow their following so that they can earn money just doing what they want to do without pulling their hair out, going crazy. Like I went crazy over trying to figure this whole thing out. Like I would like to be sane, please. I would not to have to experience burnout or, have to take a week off trying to do stuff because I'm just doing too much. So I'm really hoping that the Neurodivergent Creative Stars page can be a place for creators like me and even like you to come together.
I was like, I might have to talk to you about that one.
Like, yeah, we need to come together and help each other. We need to help our people. There's so many of us who are like, I can't work a regular job. I'm disabled. I can't do this. I can't do that. But I want to create. I want to be a painter. I want to play games, and I want to make money doing it.
Right.
Why is it so hard to gather all of this information?
Nobody wants to tell us.
Everywhere. The information's there, but none of it makes sense for my brain. None of it.
Right.
Absolutely
It's more of I need to be shown is how to do it.
Exactly. I need visuals. I need step by step. You do this, you do that, you do that. So that's what the group is going to be. I'm going to be creating guides and just ways and just have a really good community of people that I can talk to, because I also didn't have anyone to talk to all throughout the pandemic. Like, I was legitimately by myself. I mean, other than my partner. Like,
sorry.
I spend my everydays by myself. I don't talk to people.
I gotta talk to
So
the cats.
having a place where I can talk to people, it's gonna be great. So I really hope that people can join that group and help it grow and just share information on how you set up your schedules or how you go about posting your content, because
it can be a hassle, honestly, sometimes.
it's a hassle. It's a lot. It's so much.
Like even how I've shown, like, hey, I got all this. I need a lot of visuals of like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. I gotta make sure everything's in order. I cannot let that out of my sight. If I let that out of my sight, I'm like, where's my stuff?
Exactly. Like, I actually have a friend who is in the middle of doing this for Twitch affiliates to help neurodivergent Twitch affiliates build their Twitch streams a little bit better. And they've been having such a hard time because no one is like getting the information. I'm like, how? This is important information. Why is no one?
I tell everybody now. I honestly tell
insane.
everybody that this is what you need. This is the program I use. If you need help setting stuff up, it's very simple once you've been shown and just experimenting with everything. And I tell people, if you actually switch over to, instead of a monitor, switch over to a TV monitor. So that way,
Mm-hmm.
I can mute stuff like that. And I'm turning it back on. But alright, guys, social medias as we'll have in the description below. We'll see y'all here later. AetherSalora signing out. Peace, and
Bye, I'm Chanté Cosplay.
we'll see y'all
See you
later.
guys
Probably
soon.
more future live streams ahead as well. Yeah!